Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your little yoga sequence here. This is going to be a slower one. I always suggest that you grab any blocks that you might have. I have a block with me today. If you don't have any yoga props, that's fine. You can use something that will elevate your hips or bring the floor up to you. You can even use a pillow if you want to. You can use a strap or a belt or a towel or a scarf or something that you have in place of a belt. And then I also would suggest a bolster. That's a really good thing to have too, especially during like a slower practice, which is what we're going to get into right now. So I'm just going to use a block for this practice, but if you want to be more comfortable, especially in Shavasana, I would go ahead and grab a bolster. Okay. So we're actually going to start this practice in child's pose. It's one of my favorite ways to start a practice. So you can go ahead and bring your big toes together to touch, knees out wide, set your hips back, and then stretch the fingertips forward. Try to get as long as you can from your hips to your fingertips here. And if you need any support, you can always bring a block or a bolster underneath your chest. It feels nice if you have a pillow or a couch cushion. Or you can even roll up a blanket and put it between your thighs, between your calves and your thighs, if you need that support as well, like if your hips don't come all the way down to your feet. And I just want you to settle in here, snuggle down into this pose. Just let go. Feel if there's any tension in your body and try to let it loose. Try to let go of the tension with your breath. So starting from the very tips of your fingers, scan your body all the way down to your toes, just noticing anything that's present for you right now. Both in body and in mind. Energetically, emotionally, whatever it may be. Just notice how your body feels. Really tune in here. And know, as always, this is your practice. So if I cue you into something that does not feel good in your body, then don't do it. Also, you're doing this at home, so if you want to pause the video and sit into poses longer, please feel free to do that. Good. Begin to notice your breath. And I want you to stay with your breath the entire practice here. So in child's pose, you might notice that you're maybe breathing more into your belly. Maybe your thighs are pressing up against your stomach, and so you can't breathe as well into your front body. So where can you find space to breathe? Maybe try to breathe into your back body. So fill the back of the lungs up with air. Maybe all the way up to the shoulders, and then exhale out of your mouth. Let it all go. Good, you're going to do that again. Inhale, fill all the way up through the base of the spine. Fill up the entire core all the way up to the tips of your fingers. Exhale out of your mouth. Sigh it all out. You're going to do that again. Inhale, fill up. Think about the air coming up through the bottoms of your feet, filling your body all the way up to the fingertips. And then exhale out of your mouth. Sigh it all out. Good. Go ahead and seal your lips here and begin to audibly inhale and exhale through your nose. So you're going to constrict the back of your throat slightly. Close your mouth, and you're going to inhale and exhale, making audible ocean waves. Ocean wave noises with the breath. And this is the breath that I want you to tune into. This is the breath that I want you to cultivate or have the entire practice. Couple more rounds like that. Really tune in here. Maybe create an intention for your practice. Why did you show up to your mat today? It can be for any reason. Maybe your body needs space. Maybe your mind needs space. Maybe you just wanted a good stretch. Good. On your next inhale, go ahead and press your way up into a tabletop pose. Stack your shoulders right over your wrists, hips right over knees. You can tuck your toes or leave them untucked. It's up to you. And then on the inhale, you're going to melt your belly down, lift your chin, feel your tailbone point up and back. On your exhale, you're going to press your hands into the mat, round your spine, tuck your chin, tuck your pelvis. Good. Inhale, melt your belly, lift your chin, cow pose. Exhale, round your spine up and back for cat. Do that again. Inhale, melt your belly, lift your chin for cow. Exhale, round your spine up and back for cat. And just hold here in cat pose. I really want you to feel the spine rounding, your shoulder blades splitting apart here. You're really pressing all four corners of your hands into the mat. So make sure your hands, your fingers are wide here. Almost like you're gripping the mat just to make sure that your entire hand is pressing down. The more you press down into the mat and lift your heart up towards the sky, the more you're going to feel your shoulder blades split apart. One last round here. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, bring your spine to neutral. Inhale, reach your right arm straight forward. And then go ahead and lift the left leg straight back. Point your toes down. So we're in this bird dog pose, or this modified bird dog. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, bend your elbow. Bring your elbow to your knee. Try to tap your elbow to your knee, and then inhale, reach back. Extend the arm, extend the leg. Exhale, tap, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend the arm, extend the leg. Last one, exhale, tap, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend arm, extend leg. Exhale, lower the hand, lower the knee. We're going to do the other side. Inhale, lift the left arm out long. Lift the right leg out long. Point your right toes down. Squeeze your right glute or your right butt muscle. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee, tap. Inhale, lengthen, reach as long as you can. Exhale, elbow to knee, tap. Last one, inhale, reach. Exhale, elbow to knee, tap. Inhale, reach, stay here for a breath. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, lower the hand down, lower the knee down. Good. From here, I want you to step your hands one full palm print forward. Shift your shoulders so that they're over your wrists. So now you're into a modified plank pose on your knees. Now, if you're a little bit more advanced and it's in your practice, you're welcome to come up onto the toes and come into high plank if you want to. Otherwise, stay here. We're going to take an inhale. And then you're going to exhale, bend your elbows straight back, lower your chest so that you're no lower than 90 degrees. So don't come all the way down. Inhale, lift it up. You can also grab a block or a pillow and place it underneath your chest. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, bend the elbows back, lower no lower than 90 degrees. If it's higher than that, that's fine. Even if you lower down about an inch or two before your spine breaks, or I should say before you lose your form. So spine, the most important thing is spine is in one straight line. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, bend elbows back, lower as low as you can, no lower than 90 degrees. Inhale, lift. We've got two more of those. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. This time lower all the way down onto your belly. Bring your hands out to the sides of your mat. Come up onto your fingertips. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. Inhale, lift your chest. Press into your fingertips. Heart is forward, gaze is forward. Shoulders still out of your ears. Feel that front body stretch here. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the chest straight up. Elongate the spine. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Good. From here, plant the hands underneath your shoulders. Actually, right underneath your elbows, not your shoulders. So maybe a palm print back from your shoulders. Then I want you to inhale, lift into regular cobra. And then you can stay here for a couple rounds of breath. Again, try to elongate your neck, so shoulders out of your ears. Really feel that stretch. Maybe you tilt one ear from one shoulder to the other. You can even look left and right. Get a nice little neck stretch here. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, bend your hips, bend your knees, come back into child's pose. Good. From here, go ahead and make your way back through to tabletop pose. Step your hands one full palm print forward, tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. And this is your first downward dog of the practice, so notice how it feels in your body. Take movement if that feels good. So pedal out the feet, bend one knee and then the other. Sometimes I like to come onto the knife edges of my feet, bring my hips to one side and then the other. That gives me a nice side body stretch. Just make sure that your fingers are still wide and pressing into the mat here. Your tailbone is up and back. So the point of downward facing dog is that your body is in an upside down V shape here. So it doesn't really matter if your heels can make it all the way to the mat. If they can, great. But most people's hamstrings are tight, mine included. So it's okay to have your heels up. It's okay to have your knees bent. Let your head hang. Breathe here. Really press into the ground with your hands. Good. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, and then slowly step your way to the top of the mat. Make sure your feet are 2 fists apart here. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Now we're gonna pause here. See how my body is at 90 degrees. My spine is not rounded. I see a lot of this in forward or in half lift. So in order to flatten your spine, you want to pull your shoulder blades back onto your spine and tuck your tailbone so that it's up. All right, so now my spine is nice and flat. Shoulders are rolled back. This is what I want to see. I don't want to see this. All right, so half lift. Exhale, fold. You can bend your knees here, and we're going to do ragdoll. So you can let your hands hang. You can also grab opposite elbows. You can also clasp your hands behind your head, which is what I like to do a lot because it stretches out the back of my neck and up into my upper back. You can always take movement if you want, bend one knee and then the other. I like to have my knees really bent here. You can also shift the weight from your toes back to your heels. Get the feet working, get the arches of the feet, the fascia, the muscles in the bottoms of the feet working. It's always a good thing to do here. But just remember to let your upper body and your head hang here. Go ahead and drop your fingertips, bend your knees, tuck your chin, exhale, roll up one vertebra at a time slowly. Do this slow, there is no rush here. Feel how good this feels when you slowly roll up. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Exhale, bring your palms down to your heart. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press all 4 corners of your feet into the mat. Root to rise on the inhale, lift all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bring your palms down to your heart. Samastitihi. 2 more slow half sanes. Inhale, lift, reach, get long. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. You can bend your knees here. Inhale, root to rise, sweep the arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, bring your palms down to your heart, Samasthiti. Last one, inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up to the sky. Exhale, bring your palms down to your heart, Samasthiti. Stay here for one round of breath. Good. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, bend your knees, sit back into your heels, come into chair pose. So, if your shoulders are tight and holding your arms up like this does not feel good in your body, you can always bring your palms down to your heart. You can reach them forward. You can cactus the arms, really whatever you feel like doing here. All four corners of your feet are planted into the mat here, okay? You want to look down to be able to see the tips of your toes. Maybe take a few pulses here. Really get the legs warmed up. We're going to stretch it all out here in just a second. We want to warm up the legs here a little bit. So think sitting back like you're sitting into a chair here. If this hurts your low back, then you want to tuck your pelvis. So you don't want your butt sticking out. You want to tuck your pelvis, your pubic bone to your nose, or to your hips to your low ribs. That will take it out of your spine, out of your low back anyway. Good. Inhale, lengthen all the way back up. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, full plant your hands. Inhale, step back. You can either come into high plank or you can lower your knees down for modified plank. It's up to you. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, you're going to lower all the way down onto your belly and come into Sphinx pose. So elbows right underneath your shoulders. And just take a couple rounds of breath here. And I want you to think about pressing your elbows into the mat and pulling your elbows back towards your hips. And that's going to pull your chest forward, and it's going to stretch out the oblique muscles, the front of the body, maybe the psoas and the hip flexors a little bit here. You might feel it all the way down into those muscles. So forearms are parallel. We're going to do a little low back strengthener here. So what I want you to do is scoot your elbows up about an inch so that they're not right underneath your shoulders anymore. Bring the palms of the hands together. Press the pinky sides of your hands into the mat. Lift up your elbows. And then you can lift up your legs if you want to. Lift your feet up off the ground. So this is like a modified locust pose. So this is a great low back strengthener. If you have low back issues, it might be because you need to strengthen your low back and probably especially your core. So this might feel good in your body. Of course, if it does not, then don't do it. Last round of breath here. Feel those elbows, those triceps warming up, and then exhale, go ahead and lower down, lower everything down. If you want to come into the full expression of locust pose, you can reach your arms behind you, lift your legs, lift your chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together, almost like you're trying to touch your pinkies behind your back. Of course, most of us cannot do that, but that's the idea. Engage the entire posterior chain here. It's always good to do that. So squeeze your butt, maybe lift your legs a little higher. Last round of breath here. Exhale, lower all the way down. Good. From here, press back into your child's pose. Take a couple rounds of breath here. Again, maybe walking your fingertips up, getting more of that stretch in the side body. Good. From here, just walk your hands over to the left side. Keep that right hip down. We're coming into a right side body stretch here. So you can stay here. If you want to place the right hand on top of the left, you're welcome to do that to make this a little bit more intense, but really just breathe into this. Really make the connection here. Send the breath to the muscles you feel being stretched. Send the breath. See if you can breathe into the right side body a little bit more. Then see if you can breathe into the left side body a little bit more. It may be a little bit more tough because your left side body is kind of scrunched up into your left side, but see if you can do it. On the next inhale, walk your hands back through center, then walk your hands over to the right. Maybe place the left hand on top of the right if you want it a little bit more intense. And keep that left hip down. Breathe here. I feel this all the way up through my hands. And again, focus on your breath. Fill up your left lungs this time. Notice when you breathe, notice when you inhale, you might feel the stretch a little bit deeper. And maybe try to expand your right side body. Good. On the inhale, make your way back through to center. This time, I want you to bring your left hand underneath your right armpit. And for this, you can either stay back in more of a child's pose if you want to, or you can also bring your hips forward so that they stack over your knee. That's totally up to you, whichever feels better in your body. But you're gonna lay the left arm and the head down and reach the arm up, the right arm up. So you're kind of in a spinal twist right here. If this is too much for you, you can also lower that right hand down and just place it on the mat. The idea here is to stay with your breath the entire time. This is a breath practice. So that's the most important thing here. Stay connected to the breath. Breathe into these muscles. Breathe into your body. Notice what your body is trying to tell you. This is the practice. Go ahead and lower that hand down. Now we're just going to switch sides. So you're going to bring your right arm underneath the left armpit and really reach your fingertips out long to feel that shoulder blade come apart from your spine. And then again, you can bring that left hand either down onto the mat if you need support, or if it feels good to reach the left fingertips up. Good. Exhale, lower the hand all the way down. Come back onto hands and knees and just shift back into a seat. I'm going to come into a few other seated poses here. Some nice deep stretchy poses before we make our way into Shavasana. All right, so the first pose that we're going to do, you're going to bring your right hand, or your right leg up into your arms. All right. Your left shin is parallel to the mat. It's just laying down on the floor. And try to hold the lower leg like a baby. If that's not available, you can also hold onto the foot. Really, however you can reach the leg is fine. All right. The idea is to have the leg elevated so you can feel more of the stretch in the outer thigh here. And from here, I just want you to maybe rock from side to side if that feels good in your body, staying with your breath. Just loving this part of your body, holding it, caring for it, nurturing it. And then if you want to get more into the glute muscle, you can plant that right hand and then begin to put your weight onto your right butt muscle, all right, your glute. So our glutes are the biggest muscle in our body, and a lot of times they get neglected. So it's important to actually massage out and work these muscles. So especially if you are someone who is active and who works your glutes often, this is a great way to massage the glute yourself. Also with you can use a foam roller or a tennis ball, or a lacrosse ball, whatever kind of ball. Lacrosse balls are more firm. So you can even come all the way back and get into the top of the glute. You can come into the side. You can come forward to get more onto the bottom of the glute. Really just kind of mess around with it here. Then go ahead and bring yourself up and then set that top leg onto the bottom leg. And the goal eventually maybe is to get the knee on top of the foot and the foot on top of the knee. Again, if it's not quite there, that is okay. The goal is to just feel that stretch. I already feel the stretch in my right outer thigh. You can also use blocks or pillows to kind of stuff under your knees and stuff for support. Always know that you can use support, and that's totally fine too. And you can stay here, or you can fold forward a little bit if you want to get more of a deeper stretch here. And breathe into this. If you feel like maybe walking your hands from one side to the other, you're welcome to do that as well. Do both. Inhale, make your way up. We're going to switch legs, so that right leg comes down, then hold that left leg like a baby, however is available to you to hold it, as long as you feel that stretch. It's not really deep for me right now. It could be for you, and that's totally fine. Everybody's body is different, so you may even feel it somewhere else other than the outer thigh. That's normal too. So just know if you're feeling it differently, that is okay. And rock back and forth. And then once you're ready, you can begin to lower that hand down for support and then really try to get into that glute muscle. Again, this is my favorite stretch to massage out that muscle there. And you control kind of where this massage goes, where the weight goes to kind of knead out that muscle. Good. When you're done with that, you can come back up, set that top leg onto the bottom leg. Use support underneath the knee or, underneath the foot if you need to. That's up to you. And then you inhale. You can stay here if you want to, or you can begin to hinge at your hips a little bit. And as a general rule, the more your spine is flat, the flatter your spine is when you hinge forward in some of these poses, the more you're going to feel the stretch. So you can try it in your own body. Flatten out your spine, shoulders back on your spine, and then hinge forward. Notice that. And then when you round your spine, come forward. Notice what that feels like. You'll probably still feel a stretch with your spine rounded, but it won't be as intense as if your spine was flat and then coming forward. So just notice that in your body, and then you choose which one that you want today, which option you want to choose today. And again, if you want to walk your hands from one side to the other, see how that feels. Notice if there's like a sweet spot that you want to hang out in. And breathe into that. Our bodies store a lot of tension and stress and emotion. So yoga is an awesome way to release that. That's why a lot of people sometimes have an emotional release in a yoga pose and they start crying, or maybe they feel some anger, or whatever the emotion is was trapped in their body and it got released. So we'll really explore different poses and notice how your body feels and know that it's all okay. Good. So we're going to come back up through center. Go ahead and just lay all the way back onto your mat. And then bring your heels up by your glutes. Make sure your shoulders are scooted down on the mat. Lift your hips up. Just come into a nice bridge pose here, pressing your heels down into the mat. Think about squeezing a block between your legs, or if you have a block, you can go ahead and put your block between your thighs. So you get a little bit more glute activation here. Maybe try to tuck your pelvis, pubic bone to the nose. Then exhale, lower the hips all the way down. Go ahead and grab the block, lift the hips up, and then slide the block underneath your sacrum. Let's come into a nice little inversion here. So the block should be on its lowest or medium setting. Typically you won't go on the highest setting, but if that feels good in your body, then by all means, don't let me stop you. You can stay here, or you can lift your legs straight up into the air for a little inversion, get the energy flowing in the opposite direction. And you can take movement here if you want. You can roll out the ankles. You can widen the legs and come into an inner thigh stretch here. Sometimes I like to do this and place my hands just on my inner thighs as weight and just kind of hang out here and breathe. It's just a different way to stretch the inner thigh muscles with gravity. So gravity is helping you stretch out. Sometimes it feels nice. And then whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and bend your knees, lift your hips, set your block out off to the side. Go ahead and hug both knees into your chest and grab for the outsides of your feet for happy baby. You can grab your ankles, you can grab your big toes. I like to grab my big toes and rock from side to side. I find that it massages my low back. But my body, I'm a short person, so if you're longer, it might not hit you in the same way, and that's okay. So just figure out how you want to breathe into this pose. And there are so many options in Happy Baby. You can be playful with it, you know? So you can extend the legs. You can even pull the feet up towards your face if you want a little bit more in the outer thighs here. You can really do whatever you want. Extend the legs up, really. Any shapes that you want to take here. This will be the last pose before we come into Shavasana. So whenever you're ready, just slowly make your way into your Shavasana. And we didn't do too many heart openers, so I suggest taking a bolster or a block, laying it down, and then laying down block between your shoulder blades. I like to have my head hanging back so my head is not supported, but you can always use a pillow or a block to support your head as well. I just find that this feels good in my body. I have some neck issues, so this feels good. And just notice how your body feels now. Maybe do that full body scan like you did at the beginning of practice. Notice how you feel. Notice if you feel differently and how. And maybe you don't feel differently. Notice that too. Now, as you guys lay in Shavasana and breathe, I'm just going to read a little out of this awesome book that I love. And today is Don't Get Ahead of Yourself. I pulled out the map. I'll go here, I thought, and there. I'll visit this place, then that one. My mind raced with excitement at all the places left to see. I felt overwhelmed, wondering if I could get to all the places I wanted to visit. For a moment, I forgot to look around and appreciate where I was, in the forest at the foot of Mount Olympus in Olympic State Park. Don't get ahead of yourself. There are many wonderful places left to visit, many experiences to have, many people to meet and enjoy, but you aren't there yet. There will be some trials too, more lessons along the path, but you aren't there yet either. Stay in this moment. It contains the experience you need to have. This moment contains your happiness. Living this moment, being fully present for it, is the way to get to the next experience, the next person, the next emotion, the next adventure. Cherish the moment. Feel all there is to feel. See all there is to see. Learn the lessons of today, and you will be prepared for the adventures and joys of tomorrow. Be here now. This is the only place you need to be, and from this place, all things are possible. This practice teaches us how to be in the moment and be present and have joy in the present. Of course, you're welcome to stay in Shavasana for as long as you'd like. I'm going to say namaste here. So you guys, thank you so much for joining me in this practice, sharing your breath and your energy and your effort with me on the mat today. From my heart to yours, namaste.